This is a simple Phantom 2 Vision or Vision Plus antenna modification for the internal 2.4 gig antenna to bring the antennas to the outside of the Phantom. This will enable you to fit different types of antennas of your choice. Do not invalidate your warranty and do this at your own risk. The parts required will be two reverse polarity SMA female to MMCX male RF jumper pigtails. The coax cable that came on mine was RG316, but that may vary. 20 centimeters long, about 8 inches, and two 2.4 gig 3 dB RP SMA Omni Wi-Fi antennas. The internal Wi-Fi antennas that we will be disconnecting but leaving in place can be found inside the battery compartment, one on the left and one on the right as seen here. Before the modification in the workshop, I can normally get about 3 to 4 GPS satellites as shown on the screen here. I used a sharp knife to cut the red tape at the join. This enabled me to separate the top and the bottom of the Phantom shell and put it back together again. Using a very small Phillips head screwdriver, putting pressure on the screw to remove the screw so as not to damage it. Using a 2mm Allen key, we need to remove the 3 remaining securing hex screws. We now need to do this to the remaining 3 legs of the Phantom. When all the screws are removed, the Phantom shell should split quite easily. You now need to unplug the GPS from the main board and remove the top part of the shell. The Wi-Fi module that we're interested in can be seen here on the right hand side, which is a silver screen box with 2 brass coax plugs at the bottom. The thin coax cables run from the sockets of the Wi-Fi unit down to the green internal Wi-Fi antennas. These are the 2 sockets that we'll be connecting our external aerials to via the coax cable. Using a small screwdriver, unplug the small coax plug, making sure that you do not damage or pull any of the wires that are already connected to the main circuit board. Our first piece of coax will go from the socket here through the body of the Phantom. Through the landing gear hole, there's a small grommet that needs to be removed to enable the cable to pass through. On the landing gear, mark and drill a 6mm diameter hole as shown for the RP SMA female connector. The landing gear leg that was closest to the Wi-Fi unit I marked and drilled while it was still attached to the body of the Phantom, firstly with a small pilot hole. Then finished the hole off with a 6mm drill. I only done this because there was plenty of room and I felt confident enough to drill the holes without causing any damage. You may wish to take the landing gear off to do this. Place the small shake-proof washer over the SMA connector and then feed it through the hole that you've drilled. Then put the nut on and tighten it. If the body of the connector turns while you're tightening it, it would be an advantage to use a pair of pliers on the back, making sure that you don't damage the connector. Feed the coax through the hole, using gentle bends when doing so as not to break the back of the SMA connector. Do the same again with the other leg. This will be the leg where the compass wire goes through. So it's advisable to unplug the compass wire and pull it up out of the way, ready to drill your hole. As we did on the other side, fit the SMA connector tightly on the landing gear leg. Feed the coaxium plug through the same hole as the wires that feed through down to the compass unit, using nice smooth bends so as not to break the back of the SMA connector. Feed the coax from the compass side through to the Wi-Fi unit and plug it in here, and the other side a nice round bend on your wire. This is the one that goes to the opposite side and feeds through to the SMA connector. It doesn't really matter which socket goes to which connector on the Wi-Fi unit. I just found it convenient to do it that way. Because I was not removing the old internal Wi-Fi antennas in case I wanted to revert back to the old system, I taped up the old coax sockets that came from the Wi-Fi unit. These will fit nicely inside the Phantom casing and ensure the tape is on so they do not short on any of the circuit board that is in there. Secure any loose wiring, check for any plugs and sockets that may have come adrift, and before putting the shell back on and securing it down, plug in the GPS unit. Now that our sockets have been fitted, our case top has been screwed back in, check that the wires that go to the compass unit have been plugged back in and is secure. It is most important that the Wi-Fi antennas are fitted to the sockets before the Phantom is switched on. If it's switched on without the antennas being connected, there is a possibility that you will damage the Wi-Fi unit inside the Phantom itself. I use the 3dB omnidirectional Wi-Fi antennas as they fitted nicely into the body of the Phantom and also into my case. I did not have to remove them. I suggest that you leave these antennas on all the time so as you do not forget to put them on before you start your Phantom. This is the result of the signal strength tests before and after the modification. As you can see, after the modification there's a great increase in signal strength, both transmit and receive. I'm now getting 7 to 8 GPS satellites indoors, which was quite encouraging compared to the 3 to 4 before I did the modification. Maybe because the antennas are outside now and not inside the Phantom, which would maybe cause some interference to the GPS unit. Thank you for watching, and you fly safe.